Good afternoon. I want to welcome you again, Mr. Secretary, to Jerusalem once again on your visits. You're an important world leader. You've been trying to help us in a variety of ways, including in the efforts to continue the peace talks with the view of getting to negotiations to resolve the important issue between Israel and the Palestinians to try to achieve a peace treaty. I welcome your good intentions, your constant support, your attempts to assist the parties in getting to and staying in face-to-face negotiations. I think this is imperative. You cannot complete a peace process unless you begin it, and if you begin it, you have to be consistent and stick to it. And this is our goal, this is our desire. We hope that that will be done. And simultaneously, we think that the forces of terror and the forces of violence, the forces of radicalism have to be kept at bay. They should not be allowed to strengthen themselves. They should not be allowed to fire rockets and missiles on innocent civilians while hiding behind civilians. These are practical and principled concerns that we have, and I enjoy the fact that we had the opportunity to discuss them once again in Jerusalem, as I have with you in earlier times. I also want to take this opportunity, Mr. Secretary, and publicly say that I was impressed and deeply appreciative of the way that you handled the question of the Palmer Commission in difficult times. It is something that we thought was done with great decency and great wisdom. So I thank you for that as well. Welcome to Jerusalem.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, for your very kind welcome and hospitality. It's always a great pleasure and privilege for me to continue to work with you. And thank you very much for all your support you have been given to me. I'm also very pleased to visit Israel just at the start of my second term as a Secretary General. You can count on me as a Secretary General in working together for peace and stability in this region. The peace and stability in the Middle East has global implications. That is why everybody wishes that these peace talks should continue so that you can realize just and lasting peace in this part of the world. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to meet you today. Prime Minister Netanyahu and I just concluded a very constructive dialogue over lunch. And again, thank you very much for wonderful hospitality. Once again, we are at the critical moment for Israel and the region. I'm encouraged that the parties have started direct talks in the framework of the Middle East Quartet and under Jordanian auspices. I remain hopeful that direct, frequent exchanges between the parties will continue. I also hope that Israel will be forthcoming with its own concrete proposals on territory and security as called for by the Quartet in order to reach agreement on all final status issues before the end of this year. The success of Amman talks is in the interest of both Israelis and the Palestinians. I commend the Prime Minister Netanyahu, his commitment to a two-state solution. This is the moment to display further leadership to ensure that negotiations continue. As you are re-elected as a leader of Likud party, and you are going to continue another term, as I am beginning second term of the United Nations Secretary General.
You got a
good opportunity.
You had an absolute consensus in your case. We were close, but not that close.
Good opportunity for us to work together to continue for Middle East peace process. A credible political horizon is imperative for the emergence of a Palestinian state living in peace and security side by side with Israel. The consequences of inaction would be grave for either side. Now is also the time for both sides to take steps that build trust and confidence. I discussed with the Prime Minister meaningful ways to sustain these nascent talks. I also strongly urge the government of Israel to act in a constructive spirit and offer goodwill gestures which will help create a positive dynamics. The Prime Minister and I also discussed the situation in this area and Gaza, and I informed him of my planned visit tomorrow. I shared my concerns about the fragility of the calm and stressed that continued rocket attacks out of Gaza must stop. It is unacceptable. Gaza remains a priority for me and for the United Nations family. I thus urge the Prime Minister to take further steps to facilitate the delivery of the United Nations' important humanitarian and development assistance in the service of the Gazan people. Let me conclude by saying that I am well aware of the anxiety in Israel about the evolving regional situation. It is my firm belief that Israel can contribute positively to regional transformations and improve its strategic relations with its neighbors, including by constructively engaging in the peace process with the Palestinians. And I look forward, Mr. Prime Minister, to working together to achieve our shared goals. Thank you very much.
Thank you. How do you say Toda in Korean?
감사합니다.
Kamsamida.
I said
I'm studying Chinese. I may as well study Korean.